Marbella with Him and Her are proud to be sponsored by the friendliest bar in San Pedro, the Hogan Stand. The place for amazing food, live music and sport, karaoke, quizzes, and a welcoming smile. Why would you want to go anywhere else? Check out their Instagram page at the Hogan Stand and at the Hogan Hackers for their Golf Society.
This podcast may contain adult themes and strong language. And welcome to Marbella with Him and Her, brought to you by the Hogan Stand. He is
PJ Lopez and she is
Hannah Murray. I'm still satisfied from last night's dinner.
Good. It's good to see you satisfied for once in your life. It was lovely, wasn't it?
It was so good.
Hot pot. Korean hot pot.
Can't wait to tell you about that. We'll start at the beginning of the week, though. We mentioned it
Once upon a time.
Yes, there was a little boy.
Why would you go that way?
I don't know. We mentioned it on last week's podcast that I was going to be interviewing Pauline Patterson on Monday, which I did. She was my entrepreneur of the week, and she is the co-founder, along with her husband, of Dr PawPaw, which you may well have heard of and may well use. They produce amazing lip balms and things like that. And it all started, which was amazing to hear, because her daughter, when she was a baby, very, very young, had really bad eczema on her skin. And she took her to the doctors and they were prescribing really strong steroid cream. And she thought, this can't be good for delicate baby's skin. So she looked into it. She's originally from Australia. And she said in Australia, the fruit pawpaw are in abundance and you can get various creams with pawpaw in it because of the natural remedy content.
Like their version of aloe vera almost.
Very much so.
Yeah.
She mentioned that actually, yes. So she was trying to find the alternative product in the UK and couldn't. So that's how Dr PawPaw began. And she's been creating more and more products, expanding the brand over the years, as I say, with lip balms, lip glosses. There's lip balms with colour. And the next product that they're launching very, very soon is like a matte lipstick. But all of the different products still have the pawpaw content and the natural remedies in it. So, you know, the ingredients are really, really important. And they've done some amazing collabs over the years with Paddington and also Wicked, the musical, which have been amazing for the brands. And people come to them. They're sold in Boots and Superdrug and Holland and Barrett. Yes, Harvey Nichols, that's how they first kind of took off. Because, you know, launching a new brand is obviously really difficult. And she said getting it into Boots and Superdrug can be really difficult initially because they have loads of people wanting to get their products in. And then Harvey Nichols was the first one to take them on.
Not a bad one, is it, to start with?
No, exactly. And sold out like 6,000.
Well, that was from the interview, obviously. It was a great interview, really interesting. And they needed sales to get into other outlets because they said, well, how many have you sold? You know, is it going to sell? And obviously, if you're a new business, you haven't got that. You can't prove that you're going to sell it. Harvey Nicks took a chance on them for whatever reason it was, and they sold out. And that was their springboard because of those sales and how quickly it went. Everybody wanted it. They also had a Percy Pig, didn't they?
Yes.
In M&S.
Yeah.
And that obviously could only be sold in M&S. So they had quite a sort of like closed market until the Harvey Nicks came along. And yeah, really interesting story.
Yeah, fascinating. So do listen to that if you can. You can listen back on our website, Talk Radio Europe. It goes into the podcast section. I also had a really enjoyable chat this week on my radio show with a photographer called Brian Aris. And he's been a photographer for, I'm sure he said, over 50 years now, photographing so many musicians and celebrities. He got quite friendly with Sir Bob Geldof and did his wedding to Paula Yates, obviously many years ago, and then went on to photograph lots of celebrity weddings, including the Beckhams, including Liza Minnelli's marriage to David Guest. And I've just finished her autobiography. And yeah, she talks a lot about her marriage to David Guest and how it was probably the biggest mistake of her life.
When you say David Guest, all I can think of is Celebrity Big Brother.
David's dead.
David's dead.
That was so funny. Absolutely brilliant TV.
It wasn't funny that anybody died.
No.
That actual moment was one of the best TV moments ever, where they mistakenly thought David Guest had died in the house, and it was the ex-wife of David Bowie that was in there, and obviously she got the news that David Bowie had passed away. So she said, David's dead, to one of the other housemates, and they all ran into the room to check to see if David Guest was alive.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. So yes, Brian Aris, really fascinating. He'd photographed George Michael for decades, and his new book was called Celebrating George, and it was full of incredible photos of George Michael and talking about their relationship. And he was incredibly shy behind the camera. And I asked him, as a photographer, how do you get people to open up? And I'm sure all celebrities are very different. Some want to analyse the photos. Oh, I don't like that one. Oh, I don't like that one. And others, give complete control and trust to the photographer. It's really interesting.
Yeah, when you talk about George Michael, it just reminds me that there's some music artists that I find it difficult to get over the fact that they're dead, because it's an absolute travesty. So George Michael being one of them, I just can't believe that he's gone. He was such a talent. Michael Jackson, obviously, and Freddie Mercury.
And Whitney Houston.
And Whitney Houston, yeah. They're just people that are no longer here that produce some of the best music that we could ever get. And yeah, that's it. Done.
It's really weird.
Yeah, I can't get my head around it.
He had an interesting story, Brian, when I asked about celebrities, whether they want to be involved or not in the choosing of photos. And he gave a really good example. So he was talking about this photo shoot with George Michael, and George's sister was there. And he took a photograph of George where he was looking directly at the camera, like right in through his eyes. And Brian thought it was a brilliant photo. And then he did a photograph of George where he's looking away from the camera. And his sister said, I like that one. I prefer the one of him looking away. And George agreed, but Brian didn't. Brian really thought the one of him looking at the camera was best. But obviously, if George wanted the one looking away, and that's the front cover of the album, Ladies and Gentlemen.
Oh, wow, that's
with
a great
George
photo.
Looking away from the camera, and George chose that. So again, you can have your eye as the photographer, but obviously if your subject wants what they want, then that's up to them.
Well, it's not like George Michael isn't artistic. I mean, obviously, I think I said artistic, not autistic, because obviously as a singer, that is a huge art. So, he's obviously got an eye in a different way. He knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
So the photographer will look at it from, that's a beautiful photo. The contrast is perfect and everything else. The composition is brilliant. And that's not always what makes a great photo, to be honest.
Interesting. I also was very, very excited to chat to Daniel Priestley. He's a hugely successful entrepreneur with multiple businesses. He's speaking at the next Ideas Fest run by Frankie James.
I just saw that on LinkedIn yesterday. They've sold out, or not sold out, but virtually so many tickets sold as soon as they launched it. I think within a few hours, there was like hundreds of tickets gone.
That's really cool. I mean, they get fantastic speakers like Daniel. I mentioned to him that I knew Frankie well and did the India trip with her, and he said he'd spoken at lots of her events, which is really cool. So he helps a lot of entrepreneurs and startups get on their journey, basically. And he had so many tips and really great advice. It was so inspiring listening to him. His new book is called Lifestyle Business Playbook. And one of the things he was talking about, I asked him about investment. A lot of businesses are looking for investors, and I was asking how that works and what makes a company think they can get an investor. I was asking him about the process, and one of the things he said was it's sort of doing it backwards. The company, particularly if you're a startup looking to get an investment or an investor on board, you need to prove to the investor that you've got the client base first. So if you've got an idea, instead of going to an investor just with a great idea, they're going to say, well, exactly what Dr. PawPaw said. Well, how do you know it's going to sell? How do you know it's going to make money? You've got to kind of prove either by having sold the product already or get a waiting list. That was one thing he said, put the product out there, or just kind of put it out there on a social media basis or a newsletter basis, and make sure you've got a waiting list of people who have said, yes, I want to buy your product or use your service.
It's like that whole thing, pre-registration, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also looking at a more local area as well, because if you're going to go global, it's always good to prove that locally or in a smaller area it will work. And then obviously you can scale it once you've got provability that, look, if it works here, imagine what it's going to be like on a global basis.
Yeah, brilliant. Really great advice. I've got a new passport.
Yes, you may now travel.
Oh, have passport, will travel. It's black. Never had a black one before.
They say once you've... No, we can't go there.
I mean passport.
Okay.
It's always been that maroon colour, hasn't it?
Well, for the last, however long it is, we've had an EU passport, which are all the same colour. And because the UK, in their wisdom, decided to leave the EU, we now have a different colour passport, which I'm actually quite upset about.
Black's kind of classy, though.
Yeah, but it's not EU.
No.
Luckily, we've got a TIE card.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, I have a new passport. I saw that it was valid till 2037. I'll be the same age as you in 2037.
So will I. Why are you laughing at my age?
I'm not. I love you. We have...
Wow. That's
What?
so rude.
No, it's not. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Not your age, just the fact I was thinking, gosh, I can't believe how old I'll be. And then I thought, oh, that's
Not
how
sounding
old
any
you are.
better. Move on.
Okay. We have a rant again about Bolt.
Yeah, it's really difficult because we've got people using Bolt. They're an elderly couple and they need to be able to get around. So obviously when you order a taxi, you need it to turn up. Especially, we're talking about people that are pretty much 90 years old. They're not as active on their feet as they used to be. I mean, they're great, fantastic. I hope I'm half as good as they are at their age.
Yeah.
But they can't be standing around when a Bolt decides that he's accepted your job and then heads away from the job because he's also accepted another job. And when this one turned up, I said, where have you been? He said, I had another job. I said, but you accepted this job. And like a shrug of the shoulders, the usual thing. I said, you can't just accept every job just that another Bolt driver doesn't get it when people are waiting. I mean, that's not right.
It shouldn't be allowed on the app. It's awful.
They've got to, and also with Bolt, you can't report drivers. So like Uber, you can report. There's no way of doing it on
really?
Bolt. You can't even contact the driver. You can send a message. But on Uber, there's a phone number, so you can actually try ringing the driver. But on Bolt, it's a lot different.
I'd give up with Bolt. Then.
Yeah, we used to prefer Bolt than Uber. Problem is that Uber will cancel a job on you because they get a Bolt job and Bolt give them more commission. So it's all a bit weird, all these. They were a great idea at the beginning. And now it's coming back to the fact that, you know what, you can rely on a normal taxi because they're not going to cancel, which means that we have some information for you, thanks to Maeve, who uses this already, PIDE taxi. And that's the national taxi service of Spain, maybe even other countries, because I think it's worldwide, this one, because you choose your country.
Okay.
But anyway, it connects to the national services and the normal white taxis in Andalusia. They're not white in Barcelona, they're a different colour. But you can order your taxis on that app and they will turn up like a Bolt or like an Uber or whatever. You put your destination in. You can choose to prepay or you can choose to pay the taxi driver. So we chose taxi driver. And I think that might be a better option because as we found out, Uber and Bolt, they're a supply on demand service, which means sometimes your €5 journey can cost you €22 or something crazy like that. Whereas the normal taxis cannot do that.
No.
They have a fixed price. And as we found out, sometimes for those shorter journeys, they're actually not that much more expensive, if not cheaper.
Definitely. So yeah, download the PIDE app. So it's PIDE, isn't it?
PIDE taxi.
And we have an awful story about our friend Aoife, who went away for the weekend this weekend, and she had planned to get an airport bus from Marbella bus station to Malaga
She booked
Airport.
the ticket and she was waiting and it just didn't turn up. No announcements at the bus station, no information. The bus just did not turn up. So when it got to closer and closer to the time that she needed to be at the airport, she had no choice but to get a taxi, which cost her a lot more than the bus was going to charge.
That's so bad.
And this is another big moan is, again, especially for the airport and you're relying on public transport, you can't just not turn up with a bus or at least give information about what's going on because people have, they're probably quite tight on their times. And that's not good. You end up missing a flight and stuff. The whole thing with public transport is to try and get cars off the road. But if you can't provide a decent public transport, then what's the point of getting cars off the road? Because you can't rely on it.
Yeah.
I think there's a big look at themselves they need to have.
Definitely. On Friday, it was Labor Day, which is a massive bank holiday. People take it very seriously, particularly in Spain. So most businesses were shut. You couldn't go to La Cañada or El Corte Inglés. All the major supermarkets were shut. But thankfully, my Vietnamese nail bar was alive and kicking.
So was Parfoy and so was Primor.
I know.
Randomly.
So bizarre.
Yeah, all other shops were pretty much closed apart from those.
So
apart from our greengrocers as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, Tata.
Which, yes, I was coming out saying, oh, it's so good, isn't it? You get 2-3 bags fulls and it's only 20-something euros and it was 35. And I examined the bill when we got home. And that's because you decided to buy 4 avocados that were €2 each.
Yeah, I hadn't realised that, to be honest. They do.
I hope they're good.
Yeah, they're supposed to be really good. They do like 3 or 4 different types of avocados and these looked really nice. So I thought,
bet
well,
they did.
I'll get those. I didn't realise they were so expensive. Sorry. That bumped the price up quite a bit.
Yes, by €8.
Yes, apologies. We were able to have breakfast together on Friday, though, because you weren't working bank holiday. So that was really nice.
Yeah, so Fridays is Hannah's normal day off because she does Monday to Thursday. I work like a normal person and work all through the week.
A normal person.
Although I work from home on Fridays, but Hannah leaves me to have her brunch with her dad, which is lovely. They do that every week. But this week, she invited me and not her dad.
Well, no, it's not. I didn't invite my dad. Dad had a beach day planned with Sheila.
He had other plans.
Yes.
So I was allowed to go for brunch.
You say allowed. You keep saying that like I don't allow you other days. I'd love you to come to brunch every week. We went to Amber Shoe.
Bless you.
Because it's back open again. Yay! And so we went in there and we saw our friends there. They were having breakfast. So we joined up with them, which was nice.
Had a big friend brunch.
It was gorgeous, wasn't it? Such a good deal in there. €11.50 for all
first time
that.
I've had it. It's a lot of food.
It is, isn't it?
I think you could share one.
Yeah, I never noticed that before. I'd be fine with one. Big piece of toast with smashed avocado and a poached egg on top.
But two.
Yeah, you get two. Really delicious. I also had a very special treat Friday afternoon. I had a
You're welcome.
I had a reflexology session with my friend Audrey. Sheila had one the other day and she thought it was so good. Bless her, she paid for me to have one, which was really kind. My goodness, Audrey is so knowledgeable. She was pressing every different point on both of my feet before starting the session, explaining which part of my body that part of the feet was connected to.
Part of the feet, that part of the foot.
Part of the foot. Part of the feet. No, because each feet, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, reflexology has been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and there is scientific proof showing the connections between the points in the feet and the various parts of the body. So it was really fascinating. And my thyroid came up because I do have an underactive thyroid, and Audrey said you should probably go and get it checked and get a new blood test and make sure that your levels are okay. And she's absolutely right, because you're supposed to do that every 6 months, and I haven't been for at least a year. So that came up. But basically, I'm not dying. I don't have any...
Good to hear. Well, especially as our wheels aren't done yet. Leave it another couple of weeks, that'd be good.
I don't have any major health issues, so that was really good to know.
Feet.
No, I know you don't.
I couldn't do reflexology.
No.
I couldn't have it done on me, and I couldn't do it on anybody.
Fair enough. I'm not going to argue with that. We had a very productive day, though, pretty much on Friday, didn't we? Especially you. You did lots of organisation. I got my summer wardrobe out, put my winter clothes away. You built Billy bookcase.
It's not Billy.
No, it's not. Can't remember what it's called.
Keiko or Calco.
I can't remember. The other one.
Yeah, it's like Billy, but a bit deeper.
Bit deeper.
Because, obviously Billy's a bit shallow. When you try and talk to Billy, he doesn't really answer.
No, he hasn't got much saying.
While Hannah was doing all of her tasks on Friday, I decided that I would get to it. So I decided that I would clear out the top room, because there was lots of junk, and there still is lots of junk in there, but I managed to get everything tidied up, put away, thrown away, stuff that we didn't need, and then built this bookcase. And I have moved you out of the spare bedroom because your vintage stuff was pretty much taking over the spare bedroom. That is all now in that new bookcase, in drawers, all labelled up. So you've got a drawer for the packing and the packaging. You've got a drawer for flexible envelopes. You've got a drawer for hard envelopes. And the bottom drawer has a hole in it so that the cat can go to sleep in there.
Yeah, it's really cute. We saw these in IKEA. It's lovely. We couldn't understand why these boxes had holes in, and then we realised they were for cats to sleep in. So you were like, oh, I have to do that for her. She hasn't been in there yet.
I tried to put her in there and she ran out.
She didn't
ran
like
downstairs and hasn't been up there since.
We'll probably find in a few weeks' time that we can't find her anywhere, and then she'll be in there.
Yeah.
That's what
has to do it in her own time.
Yes, fair enough. Something I noticed when going to Audrey, the difference in the roads. They've been resurfaced with new tarmac. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And wow, what a difference with all those potholes we've had over the winter with all the rain. That slip road going in front of Diana Park. Oh, you can just glide across it. It was a nightmare, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm surprised motorcycles didn't come a cropper on that. I mean, there was massive holes in there.
Yeah, it was really bad. So well done, and thank you to the people who've redone our roads.
You're welcome.
Yesterday, we had quite a busy day. We got up and...
That's an understatement.
Yeah, we got up and went to do a hike for Collective Calling, a charity hike at Puerto Verde, Marbella, which is just inland from Puerto Banús, basically. It's near the Istan Lake. And it rained.
Yes. Not hard, to be fair, but it did rain. And you were like, shall I take an umbrella? Shall I not take an umbrella? Shall I take an umbrella? Shall I not take an umbrella? And you didn't.
I didn't in the end. And it was fine because it didn't actually rain again. But it was a bit cold and the skies were very grey.
I mean, it was spectacular views and they would have been even more spectacular if the sun was out.
Yes.
That's 2 weeks in a row I've been up into the mountains, and 2 weeks in a row it's been a bit shit.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I was planning the night before, I was thinking, okay, so I'll wear shorts and I'll probably wear a strapless top so I don't get tan lines. In the end, I'm wearing leggings and a hoodie. It was pretty chilly. But it was nice to be out doing the hike, and it was with the guys from Manifesto as well. And we were having a good old chat about their upcoming wedding in June.
And you got judged.
I really got judged. So there was this little game. There were people that were organising it.
Rightly so, Mike. I'm just going to add that.
Oh, stop it. Don't be
so shallow.
Stop it. It was a game. This was ridiculous. So these people told us this lovely little story, this ancient story about these two cowboys, were they?
I don't know who they were.
Something like that.
Friends.
And these two friends, and we all got given a piece of paper which we had to keep secret, and two people in the group were selected as these two
riders.
Riders, that's what they were called. But you weren't allowed to tell anyone if you were the rider. But everybody was encouraged to speak to everybody else by saying, because these two riders allegedly were finding some treasure. So everybody had to say, what would you do if you found the treasure? Or what would you do if you found the money? And the two people who were these riders were supposed to answer.
Well, they had to answer with, I'd spend it all or I'd save it.
I'd give it all away.
No, it was save it.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, or protect it or something like that. Save it. And the other one was I would spend it all.
Yeah, okay. So if you asked someone and they said one of those two things, then it meant that they were the riders. So we were all supposed to be looking out for that. But everybody else could say whatever they like. So we hadn't really thought about it because most people, for a lot of it, were staying in their own groups and just having normal chats. And every so often somebody would come up to you and say, hi, how would you spend the money? And the first lady that asked me, I hadn't really thought about it. And I thought, well, this is just a game. I didn't think I had to really think about it. So I just said, I'd probably buy some clothes. I thought that was a funny, silly answer. Oh, stop it. Don't ruin the story. It's bad enough as it is. And she was like, you'd buy clothes? And I could tell she was judging me. And I was like, yeah. And she said, is that it? And I'm like, yeah. And she said, what, clothes just for you? And then I said, well, I get some for my husband too. She said, so that's all you'd buy? And I was like, oh my God. So then I said, I'd get some clothes and give them away to charity as well. And she went, oh, that's nice. And I thought, wow, that's clearly what she was looking for. You're supposed to say, I'd give it to charity. But I hadn't really thought about it. It wasn't a proper question. Like, if you won the lottery, what would you do about it? But that's a great discussion point. And we talk about charity and businesses.
Well, this was a game.
Exactly. This was just a game. I didn't think it was like a serious answer. But another woman asked me and gave me the same reaction. I thought, wow, they're really judging here. But then that same woman said to you...
Well, she came up to me and she said, are you also materialistic?
Are you materialistic as well?
Oh, yeah. What would you do with the money? And I don't think she liked my answer. I said, I'll go for a mad night out in Portmanus and spend it all. I think she just walked away after that.
I think she just thought we were like totally nuts and materialistic and selfish and...
Well, we are.
No, we're not. I asked another woman and she said, I'd spend it all on travel. I really want to see the world. And I went, oh, yeah, me too. That's a good answer. But it was just a silly game. And I think she genuinely thought I was materialistic. And if I came across all this money, even though we weren't ever told how much money it would be, that I'd spend it all on clothes.
Maybe
clearly I wouldn't.
She follows you on Instagram so she knows what you're like.
Oh, stop. It's just silly. Anyway, apart from that, it was a really lovely day.
Materialistic.
Well, I say day, it was just the morning. We then did a bit of shopping, the stuff that I wanted to do on Friday, but it was all shut because of bank holiday. We went to Iceland, we went to Court Inglés, and there was so much traffic, wasn't there?
It was a lot of traffic. I don't know where it all came from all of a sudden.
To get round Banús was a nightmare.
It took us ages to get out. Well, it took us longer to get out because the roundabouts had sort of basically connected to each other so nobody could move. And there was this big coach that we could see it a long way ahead of us. And it just didn't move. It got stuck at the traffic lights for about 3 or 4 changes. And what was happening was cars were feeding in from the other lane, which was coming in the opposite direction. And because they got stuck halfway across the road, they would keep going, which stopped the bus from actually moving. And that happened about 4 or 5 times. So we ended up going halfway around Portmanus just to get out.
It was crazy. Utter madness. And then we went to Mercadona to do a big shop, as they call it, and I have never seen Mercadona that busy. Every single till was open, which is also quite rare, and there was a queue on every till for about 6 people.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
I mean, they were shut for a day, and then obviously they're shut today. So it was really the only day that people could go shopping, because I think a lot of people would normally do it on a Friday, couldn't, so therefore I had to do it on a Saturday because they couldn't do it on a Sunday. And that's one of my gripes about not having Sunday opening here.
Yeah.
Because it means you've got to try and cram everything into a small space of time, especially if you're working every day. You know, it limits the time you've got to go shopping.
Absolutely. It was insane. And then we went to Andy's Beach in Cabapino, which I haven't been to for so long. And they've had a massive refurb. It's quite posh now. It looks really nice.
I don't know what it was like before. It
was very basic before.
It sort of looks familiar. So maybe I have been there a long time ago for something, but it certainly didn't look like that.
No, it's really nice. They had some live music. There were tables outside on the beach and then tables inside the restaurant. It looked fabulous. We just popped in for a drink because it was a friend of ours' birthday, a couple called Albert and Terry, who we haven't seen for a long time. We met them through the Mihas Hash House Harriers, and great to see them. Really, really, they're a fabulous couple, aren't they?
Really good fun and really great for their age and everything. I mean, again, hope I'm like half as good as they are.
Oh, yeah. Albert's still playing. He's in his 80s.
Yeah.
He's still playing golf and everything.
Yeah, he's a right character.
Yeah, definitely.
Proper Cockney.
Yeah, we bought him a bottle of wine that said Governor on it, which turned out to be one of his favourites.
Well, of course
so that was good.
I like that's one of my favourites. That is
brilliant.
Lovely guy.
And then we had an amazing evening last night. We got an invite via the San Pedro guide to go to Ensue Barbecue, Ensue, which is a Korean restaurant in Marbella. It's the same road as Origin, which is the fabulous steak place we've talked about.
Yeah, near Frank's Corner, basically.
Yes, very near to Frank's Corner, same road as that. And yeah, we've only been to a Korean restaurant once.
It was a barbecue.
Yeah, and that was in San Pedro, which is closed now, and that was a barbecue place. And this place, you have a choice. You're either having barbecue or you're having a hot pot, because the table, if you have a barbecue, you have the barbecue there on the table and you're cooking for yourself, or the hot pot, you're basically making it yourself. We've never seen anything like it.
Apparently it's very, very popular now, these hot pots. They've got one in Malaga, but they've got them in Barcelona and all over the place. And I think it's a new way of eating Korean food. And yeah, it's a great way to do it. So you'd normally, I mean, we had lots of things brought out to us, a lot more than you would normally get. So you've got different choices with your hot pot. You can either just have one big hot pot if you like the same flavour and you just all have that bubbling away, or you can have the one that they call the yin yang, which is in the shape of a yin yang, and you have one half of it one type of hot pot and the other one a different one. So we had the spicy one and you had the mushroom on your side, and it just basically, you can see it simmering, and then you get bought either vegetables or very, very thinly sliced beef, which was bizarre because it was on a naked doll.
Yes.
It was all wrapped around
so
this doll.
It looked like a dress, like that Lady Gaga meat dress.
Yeah, exactly. The last one you peeled off, it was a naked doll. So anyway, but you literally put this meat into this bubbling or simmering liquid and it cooks in 15 seconds.
Less than
crazy.
Even. It was amazing because it was so thin. And mine, being a big mushroom lover, was the best thing ever. It was just mushroom water, basically.
Yeah, it was a really deep broth. Oh. And I think that's what happens. The more it keeps bubbling, the deeper the flavour gets. They also bring you this tray of all different things. It's got garlic in, spring onion in, chilli in, and some other bits and pieces. There's 6 different things. So you can actually enhance the flavours of your hot pot as well.
It was outstanding. And even though you're drinking soup, I mean, the size of it must be about 3-4 portions at least.
Huge, yeah.
We didn't eat it all because there was just so much.
But to be fair, we had lots of different things that you wouldn't probably normally have if you're going for hot pot. He wanted to show us all the different types of food he had. So we had like 2 bao buns each. We had gyoza's. We had the soup.
This crispy pork stuff.
Crispy pork
really
stuff.
Nice.
And all the different... We had very thinly sliced lamb, pork, beef, tofu, meatballs, and seafood balls. Things. So yes, we had a hell of a lot of food.
It was so much food, but it was absolutely amazing. We cannot wait to go back. Thinking of all our friends who would love it.
I mean, for the San Pedro guide, obviously we really big up places in San Pedro. That's what it's about. But sometimes you just need to go outside of San Pedro to get something special that they don't do in San Pedro.
Yeah, the closest restaurant that does a hot pot like this, Korean hot pot, is Malaga.
Yeah, so it is a really special place to go to. And I'm pleased to say that while we were in there were more people going in there. So it was quite busy.
And we went really early. He asked us to go early.
Yeah, because we wanted to get some nice photos and everything.
Yeah.
But he's a lovely guy as well. Gonzalo is his name. So if you do go there, ask for Gonzalo. Say that you heard it either on the podcast or on the San Pedro guide, and he will definitely look after you.
Absolutely. Really, really loved it. Can highly recommend it. We're recording this Sunday morning because we are off to a picnic today. We have our yearly San Pedro picnic on the grass area with lots of our friends from the San Pedro area, and it's really exciting.
And I can see that the sun has just come out.
Thank goodness.
Because it wasn't this morning.
Yeah, sun's out, so we're going to be playing ball, and we've made lots of yummy food. What have you been making, chef?
Well, I was busy this morning. I got up and I did my Asian coleslaw. Big portion because we've got some for during the week as well. So that's now in the fridge. I've made a Greek chickpea salad, which is from the Real Greek cookbook.
Lovely.
Which looks amazing. Gave you a little bit to try. That's got feta in as well.
Yeah, lovely.
That's really tasty. I've made chicken wings, which are in the oven at the moment. They've been in there for 40 minutes now. That's fine because I've put some foil on the top so they won't burn, and I've taken the temperature right down so they slow cook. And I've got two different flavours. I've got Thai flavour and the usual one, which is our
teriyaki, ginger and spring onion.
And I put a bit of garlic in, much to your disgust, but I still did.
If it doesn't spoil it. I did this morning, I've made egg mayonnaise, I've grated some cheese, so I'm going to do some cheese and pickle sandwich and egg mayo sandwiches.
And I think that's it. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's it for the side. Oh, I did cook a chickpea curry last night.
For one of our dinners next week.
Yes, because we've got the craziest week next week because we are rehearsing every single day and then straight into performances at the end of the week.
Yeah, Ladies' Day is next Friday, Saturday and Sunday night. So Thursday night will be the dress rehearsal. So there is no quiz next Thursday because all the people who I get to do the quiz when I'm away are all involved in this play. Wednesday night is technical rehearsal. Tuesday is a bit of tech, but not completely. And then Monday, we're just going through the lines, quick line rehearsal. So yeah, busy. And if you haven't got your tickets yet, please do, because they are selling. If you go to internationaltheatrestudio.org, you can get tickets for Ladies' Day. It's at El Paraiso Hotel next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we'd love to see you there. If you come along, please wait behind for us to come out afterwards, maybe have a drink together in the bar, because it'll be lovely to thank you for coming.
And apart from Hannah's great performance, which it will be, it's worth coming just to hear probably one of the worst Irish accents you could hear. I think I've actually done Piers Brosnan proud.
No, you're really good. It's great. But yes, come and hear PJ's Irish accent. And come and hear my northern accent. I mean, mine's supposed to be Hull or Ull.
Ooh.
And I think mine's very similar to Canada Girls Yorkshire, to be honest.
It's northern.
It's northern. I've downloaded an app this week, which has already proved to be really good. How do you say that petrol place? Mueve,
I think.
Okay, Moeve. So
it was much easier when it was Sepsa.
I know. So the one in San Pedro is on the boulevard in the direction of Estepona, just before what used to be Ambrosia. So it's the light blue colour petrol station. And we don't often go there because it's a little bit pricey compared to some of the cheaper ones. But our friend Shirley, and she's told me about it before, and yesterday I decided to listen to her. She said, if you download this app, you get money off petrol. It's really, really good. It makes it really cheap. And it also on the app it says, you can get money buying things off Amazon and various other things. So I'm like, it looks really good. So I thought yesterday I was desperate for petrol, so straight away I said, right, I'm going to go to this new place. I put 40 euros of petrol in, then I went in, opened my app and showed the guy. He scanned the QR code on it and then I paid for it, and straight away it pops up €5.40. And I thought, surely only spending 40 euros, what does that €5.40 mean? So I messaged it to Shirley and I said, does that mean I get €5.40 off my next petrol if I want to, or you can let it accumulate, obviously? She said, yeah, that's absolutely what it means. That's so good. So I got 40 euros worth of petrol for less than 35 euros.
We'll take it wherever we can.
Yeah, really good. So I can definitely recommend that.
So you basically almost covered the cost of the avocados.
Yes, fair enough. Fair point. A couple of articles to mention from the Euro Weekly News, our lovely collaborators. Oh, Adam from Euro Weekly News is going to come and watch Ladies' Day.
Yeah, I feel under pressure now.
I know, definitely. So there was an interesting piece talking about pet owners facing urgent new EU rules on dog and cat care. This is basically legal obligations for animal welfare. So it's all to do with caring for our dogs and cats and making sure they have the best, longest life, which is obviously a really, really good positive thing. Some things were obvious that people should be doing already, feed them, daily exercise for dogs, all that kind of stuff, which should be a given, but sadly it might not be for some. There was interesting rules about breeding as well. This is a subject I've talked a lot on the radio with Mark Abraham, who's a TV vet who did that Dogspiracy.
Oh, that was great. Oh, what a programme that was.
Yeah, so he's really passionate about this. So it's talking about breeders. There's going to be strict caps on breeders. So female, so bitches for dogs or cats.
Right.
Stop it. Female pets will not be allowed to produce more than 3 litters in 2 years, which is amazing. This thing that was coming out of Dogspiracy with these breeders in the States that were making them breed like 10 times a year or
and then
something.
when they weren't able to breed anymore, they were just abandoned.
Yeah, or killed.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. So this is great that these laws are coming into Spain. I must let Mark know. He'll be really pleased. It says that kittens must remain with their mothers for 12 weeks minimum before they're given away or sold.
Yeah,
which again is really important.
The thing in Spain is I don't know if a lot of people get bred cats. I think they get the rescue cat. So it's a slightly different thing.
Yeah.
Especially when they're abandoned. You don't always get the opportunity that they have been with their mother for 6 weeks. That type of thing's slightly different. But on the other side of it, I think it's more dog related that a lot of people are getting proper bred dogs. They're getting specific breeds. And I think that's where it's become really important. So don't stop giving a cat a home because of these new rules. They still need a new home if they're in a rescue centre.
Oh, gosh.
And the same with other dogs as well. Unless you absolutely want a specific breed, if you just want a dog, please look at the rescue centres first. There's some lovely dogs there that need help and need a home.
They're the best place to go to take on a new pet, definitely. Just in general, there are tighter controls on online sales or imports of animals, which again is a good thing. So yeah, make yourself aware of this. If you own an animal or if you want to own an animal, make sure you understand the rules and do it properly. And I thought you'd be really fascinated to hear this. Revolut.
Yes, I've got Revolut.
Yes, are opening its first permanent physical store in Barcelona. So you can go into a Revolut shop.
Wow, because you can use Revolut points. I've got lots of Revolut points. Let's go to Barcelona. We can buy something.
Well, there you go.
In fact, I'll go to Barcelona and I'll buy something.
I don't think it's a shop like you can go in and buy stuff. I think it's just more like getting face-to-face advice and customer support and all that kind of stuff.
Because they team up.
What would you buy?
I don't know. They team up with lots of people. Maybe it's that.
Okay, I don't know. But anyway, the first permanent store will be in Barcelona for Revolut, so that's exciting. I don't think we're going to get a holiday to Barcelona in order to go to a Revolut store. That's a bit sad.
But it sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think we should base a holiday around it. Something we are basing a holiday around in Nerja. We've booked a little weekend away in Nerja for June. We're going to see Chambao.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite groups. I just fell in love with them many, many years ago, and I've seen them briefly from a very high distance in Casares. They were playing the Casares Feria, and I was in a restaurant that was like very, very high up above them, so I could hear them, but I couldn't really see them. But I love their music. I got lots of their albums. In fact, my mum loved them as well. She really got into them. So, yeah, really excited about that.
So we're doing that on a Friday night, and we've booked a very special dinner for the Saturday night.
Yes, it's funny enough, it's called Origin of Nerja, and I think they sort of move around as well. There's another restaurant somewhere else, but it's all very organic, healthy foods that they use. And we've done a tasting menu.
We're going to do a tasting menu. So we've got a weekend in Nerja coming up.
Yeah, I think we're eating grubs, worms, cockroaches.
Stop, don't spoil it. We'll leave it there as we prepare for our barbecue. Have a great...
It's not a barbecue. We're not allowed to barbecue on the beach unless it's official.
Yes, no,
yes,
sorry,
don't
picnic.
take that as you can take that. And that's really important. You must not cook on the beach or by the beach on barbecues. That is actually illegal. If you want to have a barbecue on the beach, they have these boats that you can hire.
Yes, you have to do that through the town hall, which we'll also be doing this summer.
Yes, more information on that later.
Yes, we are off to our picnic. Enjoy your week ahead. Hope to see you at Ladies' Day. It is goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from her.